Dear friends, welcome. I am Dr. Durbadal Datta, an English teacher and ELT counselor. Today, I will take up some of the important points to be remembered after reading the text Ode to a Nightingale. We have just completed our reading of the text. So, let us sum up. Ode to a Nightingale is a poem by John Keats. It was written and published in 1819. This is number one. Number two, the rhyme scheme is highly regular, very much like a sonnet. A B A B, C D E, C D E. Ode to a Nightingale was inspired by the song of a real nightingale that was sung to Keats in his friend's garden. Keats's personal sufferings and the death of his family members inform the writing of this poem, and there is indication. The subject of this ode is the nightingale, no doubt, but it also bears the symbolic concepts of such as immortality, art, carefree joy, and remember that the poem is an example of romantic poetry. So, what is the form? The form of Keats's Ode to a Nightingale is an ode. You know, an ode is a lyric poem that usually praises a person, animal, object, or occasion. It may also praise universal themes. It expresses a great depth of feeling towards and an appreciation for the subject. Now, how is the structure? The poem consists of 8 stanzas, equal stanzas, all of which are 10 lines each, and it share a consistent rhyme scheme that I have already mentioned, ABAB, CDE, CDE. And the dominant meter throughout the poem is iambic pentameter. However, the 8th line of each stanza is written in iambic trimeter. This is the variation. And what are the themes? Important themes include death and mortality, nature, beauty and art, and consciousness, loneliness, and isolation. Now, I am talking about the structural unity of the poem. How has it been achieved? There is a very natural and regular development of thought from the structural point of view. Just remember, in the first stanza, the poet feels extremely fascinated by the song of the nightingale, and being too happy in thine happiness, that is happiness of the nightingale, the poet feels a lethargic pain that you know. So the sweet song of the nightingale has a great impact on the poet. In the second stanza, Keats wants to prolong that period of intoxication by drinking wine. That is the method he wants to adopt. In the third stanza, under the influence of wine, he wants to escape from the miseries and sorrows of life. You find there in the third stanza a contrast between human world and the world of the nightingale. In the fourth stanza, he discards wine as an instrument for escaping the distressing realities of life, and there he takes the help of poetic imagination to transport him to the realms of beauty. Beauty represented by the world of the nightingale. In the fifth stanza, you find attention is drawn to the surroundings. Uh, there is embalmed darkness, and the sweet smell comes out from different flowers, and in the darkness, he could recognize the flowers. In the seventh stanza, the thought of death brings to his mind the contrast between the temporary, insecure tenure of man's life with the permanent life which the creature, that is the nightingale, has. The thought of immortal song of the bird takes the mind of the poet to the past ages when all sorts of people were charmed by. And possibly this song had its fascination even in forlorn fairylands. The word forlorn brings about the transition. In the eighth stanza, the word forlorn reminds Keats that he is also alone. You remember Dream Children by Charles Lamb. You also remember Lovell Damson's Mercy by Keats. And Keats is now transported from the world of beauty, world of Nightingale, to his own world. He comes back to the solid earth and finds himself again surrounded by the inescapable realities of life. The nightingale also flies away and Keats works back to real life. So, this is the structural unity. You will find the, the dramatic structure. There is an exposition, there is rising action, Keats becomes one with the nightingale, and then Keats enjoys the life represented by the nightingale. Already he is with the nightingale. He feels it rich to die, it's precious to die at this perfect moment of joy. And then once again he comes back, anticlimax comes. So this is how the poem develops. Now come to the language devices and techniques. You will find multiple natural imagery. Winding mossy ways, deep delved earth, flora and country green, beach and green, all these are very good images. Or you will find the queen moon clustered with starry face. That's also a good image. You will find flowers like musk rose, flowers at my feet, soft incense hangs upon the boughs. You find embalmed darkness, fast fading violets. So these are the images of flowers. You will also find death, easeful death, spectre thin, rich to die. All these expressions indicate death. You find sickness, that is a kind of sickness represented by drowsy numbness in the very beginning. The fever, the fright, pale and groan, all these are associated with sickness. Uh, Remember another thing, another point that is in literary discussion criticism, it is called allusion or reference. You will find ample classical and biblical allusions in Ode to a Nightingale. These allusions actually express timeless nature of not just the Nightingale song, which the speaker explicitly recognized as enjoyed by humans since the dawn of time, but of human experiences of joy and sorrow, which live on through future generations. Lede, for instance, it's a reference to Greek mythology. Right-winged dryad of the tree. Here Keats describes the nightingale as a nymph or dryad. It is found in mythology. Blustful hippocrene. Here Keats expresses his longing for a drink of wine through an allusion of hippocrene. Also from Greek mythology, hippocrene was a sacred spring found on Mount Helicon, and it is said to bring poetic inspiration to those who drank it. Bacchus and his parts, this is also a classical allusion. And you find the sad heart of Ruth when sick for home. The woman Keats refers to was a biblical figure. And in Bible, the story of Ruth is there. And from the point of view of figures of speech, you will find transferred epithet. I am just mentioning sunburned moth. It is a transferred epithet meaning moth of the sunburned people. Melodious plot. This is also a transferred epithet. The plot is filled with melodious song. You will find personification, leaden-eyed despair. Despair as heavy as lead. So despair is personified. Beauty, where beauty cannot keep her lustrous eyes. Beauty means beautiful woman. Beauty has also been personified. Do you find any symbol in the poem? Yes. There are ample symbols, and the central symbol is nightingale. Nightingale is the key symbol representing a wide range of concepts such as joy and vibrant life. The nightingale can be seen as symbolic of the immortality of music and art through its song. The voice I hear this passing night was heard in ancient days by emperor and clown. So this is the same voice. It is timeless. It continues through ages. Now, decode the text from the from the biographical point of view. If you notice, you will find that Charles Brown, with whom Keats was actually living at that time, reported that this ode was inspired by the song of a real nightingale. At the time of writing, Keats was grieving deeply for his late brother Thomas or Tom. The bird song helped lift his mood. Uh, and there is a reference to Keats's brother's death. Critics find it there, if not directly, there is indirect references. There is a line you can remember where youth grows pale and spectre thin and dies. Consider this line from the poem in the context of Thomas Keats's illness and death from tuberculosis. So this is the biographical aspect. If we consider the historical aspect, the poem can also be considered in the light of historical context because it deals with human suffering, and in Keats's period, romantic period, the condition of Europe, whole Europe, after industrialization became serious. So there was no stability. Loom weavers were plunged into poverty, and people, agricultural people, peasants, were in danger because they had to migrate. Only 3% people had the right to vote. That is the condition, that is the context, historical context in which the poem is written. Now come to the next point. Keats, is a romantic poet, so what romantic qualities do you find here? You must note that uh, there are many characteristics. The poem illustrates main features of the romantic poetry, already I have discussed. There is a focus on rural life and the common man, tasting of soda and country green. It is it refers to the the festive mood of the common people. They are dancing, countrymen, and their festivities. It has been indicated. There is passionate expression of emotion at all stages from the very beginning to the end. So the poem conveys deep contrasting emotions. In the lines, remember, my heart aches and leaden-eyed despair, the poet expresses great sorrow. In lines, sunburned mirth and such an ecstasy, the poet expresses great joy. So you will find in this poem ample references to both joy and sorrow. And if you notice some other features of the poem, you will be rather astonished. Notice the phrases, Keats's coinage. Keats is to be ranked with the great masters of the English language like Chaucer, Shakespeare, and Milton. Keats added something. He coined new words and phrases which had never been used before. I am mentioning some. Leather words had sung, light-winged dryad of the trees, full-throated ease, deep-delved earth, blissful hippocrene, with beaded bubbles winking at the brim, purple-stained mouth, the weariness, the fever, and the freight, leaden-eyed despair, viewless wings of poesy, embalmed darkness, rich to dry, no hungry generation trade thee down, fairy lands forlorn. These are the beautiful phrases that Keats added. Now, once again, I'm telling you about another quality of Keats, that is sensuousness. If you go through the poem, in the first two stanzas, you will find ample example of Keats's sensuousness. Here he has described the feeling of fatigue and intoxication produced by the soul enchanting song of the nightingale. His desire to prolong the sweet sensation by drinking the best quality of wine, which had been cooled for ages under the earth, presents Keats as a highly sensuous poet. And also, you find in Embalmed Darkness, Keats there could recognize all the flowers. So there is an image, sensuous image of smell you will find. And you will also find the flight of imagination. Keats is transported to the world of the nightingale with the help of wine, but finally with the help of his poetic imagination. So imagination plays a great role all through the poem. Now I am just telling you that there are some lines that you have to remember, you have to quote, or you should know the importance of the line. For instance, I am just mentioning one line. Uh, Thou wast not born for death, immortal bird. So Keats says the bird is immortal. In which sense is the bird immortal? So read the poem in the light of all this and keep in your mind all the points that I have mentioned and also some other points that I have not yet mentioned. So this is the way of reading, of taking into consideration any poem you read in future. So this much from my end today. Thank you.